Yeah, Saturday.
Here we are on Racing Rant. Are we on?
The RANT, and it's
RANT.
big news because a remote is coming.
Oh, how exciting! We've invested like $13.95 on a remote.
Yeah, it came
This
straight
business-
from China, 35 working days, so see you in a few months.
So it cost $13.95 and postage was $25. The normal.
And the other news is that there are lavalier, otherwise known as lapel mics, that are going to go into a mixer, that are going to go into the camera, and they're people that are familiar with audio stuff will know this, but it's cardioid, so it's just sits on you and it only picks up the noise from your voice. It doesn't pick up all the other.
What if I fart?
I think some people are going to be disappointed too, aren't they? They're going to be like, where are the trains? Where's the lawnmowers? Where's the blowers?
Well, I saw some bloke, one of our emails said something about Marco B wrote at Just Idea, who's this fool wanting the show indoors? Tell him he's kidding himself. I agree with you, Marco. And good email. Or text or Twitter or whatever it is. Donald Trump, there he is, new president.
Oh,
How enormous is it, eh?
more worried
huge.
about his ratings than running the country by the looks of things. But,
He's a showman and he's a salesman. He's hard not to like.
Well, it's hard not to like, but he's there.
Oh, it's great. It's just wonderful. It's just the best. Like, how funny is it? Like, we're that closer to everything being like...
Or we're actually not closer at all. We're just it's an opportunity to present that.
I think just people love being in fear,
Oh, I love it.
you know?
It's just
I don't know,
lovely.
if you plan on going out in another 9 months, what can you possibly fear?
Bring all you bastards with me.
Yes. Oh, okay. Oh, that's nice of you.
Fuck all you bastards winning and enjoying your lives. Come with me to hell. Anyway.
Well, was it hell on Saturday? Because Randwick played pretty fairly, I have to say. There was an intent from riders to be away from the rails, which is often the case when it's true, but I had no complaint with the track, the way the track played. There were several races that were particularly slowly run, most notably Via Napoli's race, and especially Montauk's race, and later on God Unders was moderately run.
I can look at this program, guys, and not usually much surprises me on a racetrack, but I can nearly give you a great example in every race of something surprising. Race 1, which exceeds, who I had fourth in the mounting yard numbers, has improved quite a bit, going around $26 and a perfect ride there by Abdullah, and it charges away to win. Then race 2, Tactical Advantage, they bet $9 about it. They bet $9 about Tactical Advantage on the weekend, and for anyone out there doing form, really, you can have it 3 prices. You can have it 5 to 2, 7 to 2, and if you really didn't like it, you could be 5s, but you can't be anywhere $9. And in the same race, Glyn pops out. It's good Glyn, good Glyn, good Glyn. He pops out, does a left-hand turn. I went, oh my God, not bad Glyn. Does the job, ends up being good Glyn. Via Napoli, surprising again, sucked lead the whole way by 2
I
lengths.
think Mark mentioned it on the show, he expected it to
But
lead.
it's so unusual to Jay Collett do such a good job on a leader.
No, he's the new Jay Collar. I've seen him so positive lately. I'm loving this new Jay Collar.
So that surprised me. I get to race 4. We've got a horse called Superstar Bob, who had one run in a 1,000-metre maiden and bolted in on Saturday. He looked a really talented horse. How could you possibly pick that?
And he's very well backed, because I'm standing there on the outskirts of the ring, and I just hear wave after wave for Superstar Bob. It was just...
And in the same race, got Nick's Vendetta, Rob Waterhouse bet $9 and $2.90 as they jumped. $2.90. It had to trip to miss a place in that race, and of course it couldn't win for me or our subscribers, but on an each-way basis it was a great bet. Next race, Montauk. You ever seen Montauk charge through the line
Sprint
like that?
like that.
You ever seen it do that?
He was like a gazelle.
Next race, again surprising, Olympic Academy wins a race, and then the way it wins the race is, what are you doing, Huey? Are you kidding? I know it's a game of inches, but like, you know, the Crookshanks would have been on it, they would have been all over it, but it would have been great to see it get beat, just to see a top jockey be dragged in and be given 3 or 6 months and not ride wings. I mean, I really like Huey, but I would also love that scenario, which would be great.
Sorry, how was that about to happen on Olympic Academy? What was he doing that possibly...
He stopped riding at the...
I didn't see that.
Oh, they even dragged him in and fined him. They've even fined him and he won the race. That's never done before.
Right.
They give you a stern, lucky you won the race, but we'll let you... They fined him $600. If it gets beat, though, it just would have been so exciting. Ecuador, Gordo Sybil has won up here on the previous show, and it looked to have a great chance. But how'd they bet $650?
Yeah.
How did they bet $650? If you told Adam Hieronymus,
It's a gate 1, that's why.
Oh, they've at 6.50.
Why do you think
And
Nick's vendetta was
61 kilos?
$9.50?
Do they still care about weight?
They have some problem with 61.
Yeah.
Every other horse can be on 59 and a half, and everyone's got problems with 61.
Yeah.
Next race, God unders. Well, not so surprising. Had a
But
great,
he's
great
like
chance.
had 45 starts. The other horses are like
And,
lightly raised. And he just keeps.
Deeply, who only had third in the numbers. I didn't think it looked as good as last start, but how did they bet $3.70? It was a juicy program with lots of exciting racing and look, every scenario is there, not possible. But the real thing that grabbed me was Montauk. What was that? It just ripped.
Yeah, it ripped. It does. You know,
I
I
vibe that
spotted it as a
completely.
horse with
I
ability.
vibe like I went to that race and I went, this is the horse I've got to be on, because I mentioned to you those four horse fields at Canterbury that night, the Cabeza de Vaca and the Dillon's Romance. They both was some sort of platform.
There was juice in them.
They were good races despite the lack of fields.
And was there a couple of lead up runs with Glyn been on this horse?
So Glyn sat outside the lead 2 starts back on Montauk,
Bad Glyn,
right? And then El Megorian ran around at Canterbury last time. So
which
you
is
had
like triple Bad Glyn.
So you had that, and there's Gun, and you go,
There's
I'm
a
going.
platform into gun.
I think something to take out of the meeting is if you like a horse and the market doesn't and it blows, ignore it. Ignore the market, back yourself, and keep on betting.
Yeah, Tactical Advantage, Ecuador, and Deploy are 3 good examples on the program.
And they look to have really good, strong form chances. And there they are, like bloody Tactical Advantage. When it was unraised, I rang Snowy the morning of its first run, and I rang Stuart Davis. I would never ring those two and say, look, you two boys do the trials, I've done the trials. Have you watched this Tactical Advantage in this trial that day? I thought it was the hottest trial I'd ever seen. And here it is 3 wins later, and it makes me feel like I had some idea of looking at a trial.
It went well. Spending to Win, I thought went well, Glenn. But what of Guard of Honour? Was he
Disappointing.
too
Look
cutely ridden?
Maybe too cutely ridden. Do you want to back Huey this time of year? Like even when he gets presented winner race in the Olympic Academy, he sort of mucked it up.
Did he actually muck it up?
Huey's a group
Olympic
rider now.
Academy's run 55 seconds. And I'm sure he's been persuaded to the line on each of those occasions. I wonder if actually not riding him may have assisted him.
Maybe that's a thought, but punters want to see jockeys get stuck in the last 50 metres when you've got your money on.
Yep.
I mean, you get stuck in if it's a close finish with Winks, lifts it and gets it on. He becomes just like a carnival rider. And
When was
I
the
thought
close
Olympic
finish with Winks?
Academy was a
I'm just,
kind of
you know.
Olympic Academy is the kind of horse that you want ridden out, don't you?
You want like a jet put up its arse the last
Yeah,
50 metres
yeah.
because it's got mind games.
Yeah.
Cruikshanks would be the first to admit it, even though I did say to Mark's father Peter, who's next bookie, and a terrific racing bloke, terrific racing family. Mark's very popular on Twitter. Even I read his Twitter stuff, which I enjoyed. And I said to Peter, oh, what a great horse he is. And he said to me, well, Glenn, he's not a great horse. This is, after the win. And I said, Peter, you're wrong. He's actually a great horse because he runs great races all the time and he's always $13.
That's right. If you've got an Olympic Academy or got unders that are like well into their career, they're old horses, but they're triers.
And you can get on them all the time. They never have a boom. Olympic Academy will be at $9 next start somewhere.
Yeah.
Imagine having a horse that age, that exposed, competitive in $100,000 races.
Olympic Academy, you mean?
Both
of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, the planets do have to align for it to win. I mean,
Yeah,
Lipari
no,
was
but-
murdered. Should have won easy.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
It happens. If you're going to ride horses from the back, you
Planets do align.
Yeah.
you can't. What was I thinking about yesterday? Fashion Snips, because Fashion Snips is a horse that can't make things happen, even though she won yesterday. It's like these horses. Yes, they can get into prime winning condition, but they still can't make things happen.
I know. Yeah. And yet we see young jockeys make things happen. What about Dini Pena at the moment? I mean, are we fed? Is this for real? What's going on? Did you see on that $15 chance yesterday? Won by 7 lengths.
Saskia Rose, great
She just
result.
went, oh, I'll lead. They went. I really do think male jockeys like looking at girl
But
jockeys'
that
asses.
horse was actually much faster than those other horses, always.
Fucking pissed in.
Right, well that was Wyong yesterday, which we're not here to talk about.
No.
Let's talk about the 2-year-old race 1 and what is the story with Eden Rock. It's Star Turn's 3/4 brother, looked to have every chance. Where does it go to, Glenn?
I don't know where it goes to. If I owned it, I'd probably put it out.
Right.
Seemed to race ungenerously to me. Needs to grow up a little bit, but I think it's got ability.
What about
it looked to parade really well. I really find Tommy Berry uncomfortable to look at when he's $1.70.
Yep.
I don't think Tommy handles the $1.70 range very well at all. You know,
I think just another occasion of me getting on at $2.50, jumping at $1.70 and coming second.
He hasn't learnt to arbitrage. And when he does, I'm sure it'll all turn
I
around.
don't crunch. That's
well, the problem is when you arbitrage, the ones you lay win, and then when you don't lay them, they get beat, and then you get in the yin yang about it.
Look, like,
Yeah, no, but-
if you're on at a good price, just say I've got a good price, and in the long run, I'm going to make money.
I think that's
Yeah.
fair commentary too. You throw the bet in the draw.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's also the thought that why are you getting a good price? There obviously is an opinion in the market that has handled it poorly in terms of the price they've laid it at, but that opinion is saying, I'm against this horse.
So you're talking about the opinion of blokes who work for corporates that are all beaten up old bookies clerks that would do the form like just rubbish. They'd
No,
be
it's
working
all very competitive. You haven't been in
Bar
those
Peter
environments.
Nobber, who's one of the best judges in Australia.
It's all very competitive in there. Like, you've got no idea. They're honestly on each other's backs all the time about getting prices right. Getting horses' finishes right, not necessarily horses' prices right. I'm saying they get horses' prices wrong a lot, but it's what's underneath that actually bears some inspection.
I'm just saying it's a numbers game. They're doing the form on thousands of horses. I'm not saying
Yeah,
one
so
person
they're-
is.
so they're
they're
un-
going to get it wrong.
They're unable
One
to
every
ascertain what
50
the market
horses or
will
something
bear,
like that.
right? What the market will
I'm
bear.
saying they can't spell. I'm saying they fucking can't spell. Peter Nobber would be the only exception. He's in my punters club. He had 2 picks on Saturday. He had something,
What do you have?
150 on something at Parks, right? And I said, Parks, are you fucking texting? Are you fucking kidding? He said, it's an absolute moral. They bet $6. It won by 7 lengths, and we got $2.30 or something best toe. So don't you laugh. This punters club pays for my Christmas, and the other 100 was going to get $2.50 a week. He said, oh, he put that on Montauk.
Get out of here.
Wow.
Get
Well, he's
out of here.
playing again on Saturday
He's
then.
playing against Saturday.
Big
And
load
I
of knock.
texted him straight back, how wouldn't you have $2.50 on one, all up the other? You're a pussy. Wait till the punters club gets my chance. I'm going to put my punters club that I'm involved in, $250 bets up the side. It's going to be race 1, all up race 2, all up race 3 a place, all up race 4, all up race 5 a place, all up into the quaddie. I'm going to have a 5-way all up into the quaddie. I will be the greatest punters club hero of all time.
Oh, I don't think the pool in the quad is going to be big enough for you.
It's going to be fucking fun.
Yeah.
So to my punters club members, put your seatbelt on for the old Glenson.
All right, but what you've just identified there is an off-due strategy by clever players. It look for the out-wide meeting with the skinny races. You know, the Gold Coast here or Toowoomba there, or
And they do cherry pick the pros all around Australia, and then we have, like you said, these corporate so-called clever people
Clever, yeah.
having to do so much form on thousands of horses. Of course, they are going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they can't spell.
You just
even
wait for those mistakes and jump on. That's
until
the
you
go.
get barred, and then blah blah.
well, it's
blah.
like they put up 240 Eusebio and 280 spinning to win, and spin it. What's it called? What it's sprinting to win.
Yeah.
Yesterday,
And sprinting to win is not happening.
starts bet 460.
Right.
about
So
it.
obviously the 240
Yeah.
Starts at $1.75 and pisses him. And we
Yeah,
seen a hotter stable last week than John O'Shea. What about
no,
them?
no, they're
Have they
fine.
taken the cameras out of his stables?
All right. So what about the 2-year-old in the first? What did it look like? Watchdog.
He looked a nice time. She just
Didn't
Jane
do much.
Didn't do much.
Like in comparison, like everyone got to Randwick thinking, wow, the Rick horses are just flying, especially the sprinters, especially the fresh horses. They're just,
They come off the night before with Gridlin.
That horse was backed and second favourite purely on the stable.
Yeah.
Because his trials weren't anything to
Well,
rave about.
okay, so you're able to read the softly, mosey home from the back trial. You're able to disseminate all those trials.
From those trials, I mean, Eden Rock
Like
and
they all
Ib
trial
were
the
in the
same.
same trial, and Eden Rock looked like it was about an 8 to 10 lengths better horse than it. So,
All right, okay.
That's
well,
how
I'm
they
pleased
change
that you
trial.
can
You've got to think of all these things.
okay, and taking that into consideration, I can drop it back to 4 or 5 lengths.
And just talking about coming to the track to everyone out there, like there was a horse in this first race, which obviously wasn't in Mounting Yard Mile Tips, even though it looks pretty well. You can't, I don't make a comment on every horse. And they were betting 80s and $15 a place. And Christensen, which came down the outside, was trained by Gay Waterhouse. Tim Clark rode it. But if you're a racecourse like enthusiast like I am, like T Clark on horses at 80s, first run in a race, They are 800 to 1. This horse on Saturday, Tim's he's an experienced
You
jockey.
keep harking back to Fine Mist.
Yeah. T. Clark, 80 to 1. Spurs on, head down, walked perfect, gets up and runs a hole. Intense.
Well, also,
I even said to Clarky, what have you got spurs on for? Like, he does not, that I don't want to say he doesn't
yeah,
try.
I know, okay, but he's riding for Gay in
So Gay's got a little opinion. You make sure you put your spurs on. We think this horse can run a race. This is something you pick up when you're at the track.
Do you reckon it's trainer instructions for Clark to wear spurs in that kind of a situation?
I know Gay's keen on the spurs, but she wants to
Okay.
win the race. She used to, I've spoken to her about it before. She couldn't believe how I'd even noticed. I said, "Are you kidding, Gay?"
That's my job.
Yeah, well, that's classic Gay, isn't it? It's
Like,
like,
what do you mean? We have to hide those spurs. How did you notice that? It happened when I was talking about Nash, because Nash had unusual spurs. They were actually about another half an inch longer.
Yeah.
They looked like, something you'd see up across some Sheila wearing. She beat the shit out of you, and you had to pay her 300. How do I know about that? Yeah, and I said, gee, what about? And Gay went off the brain that I'd noticed spurs.
so did Glyn ride?
She was unhappy with me.
Did Glyn have spurs on the stablemate?
Glenn really wears spurs. Who was he on?
Pandemonium, the thing that said OSL in the first.
No.
Sorry for talking so long about the first race, but it's obviously a seminal race, and I will also mention that the two Gay runners which performed so well, they both came off pedestrian-looking trials, but like Brasco Gay at your peril, like they overachieve all the time.
At your peril.
And 2-year-olds, Brasco match form at your peril.
Another thing.
If you had a run, it's got to be providing you a massive profit this year, does it or not?
Massive.
2-year-olds should have had a run.
Massive.
Yeah.
Massive.
And by the way, Mark assessed it at $8 as well, so good work, Mark.
Well,
and
I was
took
particularly
26s.
keen on it.
Yeah.
Well done. And another thing, very surprising thing about the race, because look, all day I was just full of surprise. Mr. Grumpy, them taking $10 about Mr. Grumpy, named after me. That was short odds.
It's funny, I expected that.
Of what?
Just intent again, it's like, it's some sort of tip.
Let's get to race 2. We've spoken about these 2-year-olds for 4 days now.
Well, is there anything else to talk about? They finished fairly, they've all finished within 3 lengths. Thought Spending to Win was a bit outside his comfort zone, having to lead.
Didn't get him in the mounting yard numbers. He paraded quite well. I think he's got a lot of
Hang on. Sky Thoroughbred Central were given that horse as the best on parade.
Well, they're wrong. And even though it ran really well, they're wrong. It can improve 4, 5, 6, 7 lengths, Nelly.
It will be better with some cover, I'd say.
All right, so we've got the first 2. Well, what about the other 4?
Starcross lead in a week of standard race.
Look, it was just good to see good Glenn push a good horse out, but I got a funny feeling it was bad Glenn turned into good Glenn there.
Anyway, it was very exciting to be
You
on.
can't get them beat and jump off them.
It was very exciting to be there to watch Glenn's reaction to the race. Race 3
Which was a yawn.
a complete yawn, and there's
Do we have to talk about it?
nothing needs to be said about that.
Are we a bit sick of Harlem Lady running last all the time being favourite? Is anyone over it? Can't we get it to
I'm
26?
loving it.
Can't we get it to $26 one day so we can back it and know it'll win?
Oh, wow.
It is the most juiciest little profiled horse. Wet track only, big odds, in a race where you think it's got none, back it.
That's the that is the intelligence to take from race 3. Race 4 was a particularly good highway, and we had the M Dale v the M Dunn, the 2 MDs, and all 3 of them very strongly fancied.
Yep.
And Matthew Dale won that one. Matthew Dunn's horse wasn't competitive,
No.
so you think that just couldn't be with them.
Give a good spruik to the horse at far there, and there is more. And that's one of the things about the preview show too. Sure, we do tip winners and we tip a stack of losers, but man, we can
Tip a firmer.
We can tip a firmer. Every horse.
Was
we really,
$11 when you were spruiking?
I was
it?
spruiking it like you won't believe it. They did,
$8.50 on race morning.
and they took $5 at one stage, and it was at $4.60 back out of SP $5, but it was as solid as a rock, and there's money to be made in backing horses at firm for sure. As you know, if you don't know that, then turn the channel off, run away.
How did the winner parade go, Superstar?
Look, he was playing. He sort of went past me a couple of times, and maybe I didn't pay as much respect as I should have, because I just thought, well, it's got none on form, and you do get that. I don't like this horse yet.
Okay, but we had 2 3-year-olds, both one start, one win, one at Canberra 1,000, the other at Gold Coast 1,200. What do we, you know, like, is there something you can draw from that?
Well, the only thing I'm taking out of the race is I think Clipper will improve and it's going to be a nice
I
horse.
think it's
Nick's,
the run of the race.
So-
Nick's Vendetta to be PR and for $9 to be at bet. I'm saying that there's something completely icky and wrong about that. How was it $9?
Because it drew gate 1, and
Come on.
at that stage they determined to lay everything that was on the inside.
I think Superstar Bob's going to be a good horse. It'll keep on winning. One thing you mentioned about Gold Coast to Canberra, yeah, it's simple. Canberra form's better than Gold Coast form.
Well, also, Canberra 1,000
really?
has got
Yes,
more juice. Canberra 1,000 has got more. I know no one likes 1,000 and 1,200, but there is more possibility, potential, in a horse that runs well at 1,000 in a maiden than there is in a horse that wins a 1,200 metre maiden in a country jurisdiction as well.
Why can't we get these sheets on the Friday preview show?
That
be nice,
reminds
wouldn't
me.
it?
That reminds me of Back to the Future. Do you remember
Yeah,
that
the-
movie?
Oh, yeah.
the sporting
Biff-
almanac.
Biff, yeah.
Oh, that was gold.
There's nothing else to be said about the highways there.
No, not really. Let's get to Montauk.
Well, I will say Burning Energy, who was poisonous on the fair at the Deaf, 550, and broke through the barriers,
Which didn't help it.
But he's gone way too slowly there. You've got a horse that's had his last start at 2,400 7 days ago.
Right.
Why are you sitting there going?
Because they all sit there. They all do this, the kids.
like,
If they go a bit faster, you know what happens? The stewards go, why'd you go so fast?
but he cannot go that slowly and win that race on that horse,
According to you.
according to me.
Yeah, okay, and you might be right. But
He
the-
did end up getting beat quite comfortably. But
I think racing
Yeah, but he
officials.
just let them out sprint them. Just out sprint him.
Yeah,
Of
but
course he's going to get out sprinted.
But if he goes 5 lengths quicker and breaks the field up and then gets run down, it's back to apprentices school.
All right, so there's no hope for any type of.
Van Gestel, Dingwall, all the stewards, they're proteges of Murray. Murray thought he was the greatest jockey that ever lived.
Okay. Interesting ride, I thought, on More Than Fabulous, who was the heavily backed horse in the race.
I thought he rode perfectly.
I'm not saying he didn't. I'm just saying that for a horse that was on the 7-day backup with lever off, shin on,
Yep.
and
So he held it, knowing the horse just got a little tiny sprint. Shin loves horses with a little tiny sprint. He loves to
nurses,
suck.
yeah.
If he was a bicycle rider in Europe, they'd punch the shit out of him every night because he just sucked on everybody's back tyres, and he likes to pop out and go. And that's how you got to ride More
what's
Than
this
Fabulous.
horse's? Well, okay, but what's this horse's? This horse hasn't got a hope in life, has it?
You never back it. You pin it. You pin it every start. And if it's in a race which was pretty thick and you think there's a bit of pace on it, maybe fresh over 1,400 and it's 40s, you can have
Yeah.
2,200 a place.
well, that's that stable too, isn't it? You're looking for a pretty long odds.
I took $18 a place this horse a few starts ago at Rose Hill,
Yeah.
down the outside, Bob in.
Yeah.
I only had $100 a place on it, but at the time I couldn't afford a pizza and it was a fortune.
Yeah, it was in the Redoutable Heart Race.
That's the sort of bet it is. Otherwise it's a pen. All the time.
And
It's 35 starts for 3
and
wins.
any comment on the 53 length last of Multifacets?
Well, I expect it to probably win next time. It's what let's talk about Waller. Like the Friday night. I mean, I know it was ridden last start by Glenn. What was it? Got beaten 4.5 by 8 lengths. Got beaten 12 and a half
I backed
lengths
it. That was my best bet of the night.
on Friday night.
On Friday night.
You just saw
Kay McAvoy, he just did the job, didn't he?
Glenn off. Glenn gets
Monasterio.
beaten. Monasterio gets beaten 12 and a half lengths. There it is. Not only does it win the race, it's hard in the market. It's like, I will take 420.
No,
I'm
I thought
going.
it could start $3.
Oh yeah, it got beaten 13 lengths last night. All I could see with the 13 lengths was it was Glenn on. Now Glenn off. Is Glenn off that big a stat?
We've got a very
Big
good email.
status, Glen on. Glen on's bigger than Glen off.
We've
You
got
stop thinking Glenn on.
We've got a very good email about Glenn in part 2.
He's the most mesmerising character in racing at the moment.
Oh,
Horses
for you.
knees are on. Oh, he's
I
awesome.
love Glenn, but I must say my favourite jockey at the moment is Kay McAvoy.
Doing a great job. I wonder if he'll go back to the blue. No, they got the.
He had a blue ride the other day.
He did have a
Kay
blue ride,
McAvoy on leaders. That's just gold. He's the
Drawn
best-
wide?
He's drawn wide, leaders. Whatever price it is, back it.
Let's get to
Okay.
Olympic.
Sabino Speed is racing very, very well. He's a testament to his connections.
Tipped him on top in Mounting Yard. Marley got beaten ahead. It was $10 for our punters.
Leopari was 7-2 into 6-4 or 7-4.
No, hang on. When was it 7-2?
It was 7-2 on Friday.
Well, do we really talk about Friday fluctuations on this show now, or do we talk about?
Well, we gave our
It was
tips on
still
Friday.
okay. At 9:30 on race morning, when you can get on to win your whatever you
What
can get
price
on
are
with, $4. was actually $4.
So the tracker was 280 into 260 with Rob Waterhouse backing it back at 260 at one stage. Great bet in there by Rob.
It probably was a 260 Jacks.
Anyway,
Fuck,
we're,
how do
we're,
you
two,
take
we're,
260?
we're two for Leopari. I mean,
I have no idea.
Well, it's the only horse in that race.
What
that
about
can do anything?
a bit of help there, like perfectly ridden by Shin, Cawthon's Power, $9.20 on the fair. Means the horse, like, thought it'd be 5 to 2 on the fours, $9.20.
I suppose it had me thinking about those horses that are primed by those big fat trials between runs. You know, we saw race 2 at Beaumont on Saturday. You know, there's the big failure first up, but then the juicy trial, you know, within the week, and it backs up off the trial to win. I'm thinking, maybe those horses, maybe they've cheated a bit. You know, they've really had a
Got
real
an extra training session in?
Yeah, they've had a real advantage with that trial, and it doesn't. You know, they can only sort of go backward from there.
Star Wars seems to be a horse that is, you know, just what you make of it. And same with Rock My Lady, they're all become King's Officer worked home. Maybe there's some hope for King's Officer to get into a race if a bit of stick comes around. But, you know, Olympic Academy will keep bobbing. It'll run a good race next start. It'll probably go up in distance. Probably be about $15 and it'll run a good race.
He's hoping. The feature, which A. Hieronymus was nailed to the inside, but
So the marketplace said Ecuador couldn't win. Leading the charge out, Rob Waterhouse, first to $6.
Yep.
Fair. Everyone, and like every person that liked it, you nearly basically talked yourself out of it. I've got to respect it. But there was one thing that you cannot ever give up on. Adam Hieronymus. He gets the job done.
Yeah.
It's never bad, Adam.
But
Do we ever say bad, Adam?
No. Like, yeah, but I'm saying there was a lot more positive about Ecuador than just the jockey.
But
yeah, Gord was right. He identified it as the substance in the race.
The marketplace said this is not going to
The
win.
marketplace was wrong.
That's unusual.
Thank God. Thank God. No, that's what we're saying. Thank God. It happens.
Shiraz, $11 into $6.
Best backed horse in the race.
At one point was shorter than Ecuador. You wouldn't think it'd win a Katoomba, Shiraz.
Anyway,
Going up
that
in distance.
That was
You liked it from the yard too, Glenn?
It looked well.
Yeah.
That was his big chance, Shiraz. Gold Symphony is that's what he is. Prince Famous.
That's what he is. Oxford Poet, I think on the previous show, we identified going up 400 second up, especially
Well,
me.
also he didn't he needed to control, and once Prince Famous took that away from him, he was history. And Ninth Legion,
again-
I said, you know, 2 runs in Brisbane is 2 runs too many.
Yeah.
So Ninth Legion, that's the
Oxford Poet, it was like the way Parade first up over 1,000 with all the condition. I'm not trying to tell you too much about Man, but when you carry a lot of condition, you go bump up 400 metres, you can't carry the weight. It's like you're running around with you're thinner and you're fitter, but you're more hurt inside.
Yeah, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I just penned
Yeah,
it.
if you can run well at 1,000, you're way too chunkus munkus to be.
It was a funny race for me because I just absolutely penned Oxford Poet, and I penned Wouldn't It Be Nice as winning chances. Okay, yeah, Wouldn't Be Nice, $16, big deal. But I did manage to take top odds. I took $11 Shiraz, I took $6.50 Gold Symphony, I got on Ninth Legion at $6, and then Ecuador, I took the $6.50, and no matter what was going to happen, I was on Prince Famous at $12. I couldn't lose in the race, but I didn't win what I wanted to win because I taught myself out. Ecuador's, I've only just won something, whereas
It's a hard
Fucking
game.
Does the market react more when it's Robbie looking to lay a gay horse?
Oh, for sure. You
For
know,
sure.
you know. Now they
and do you know what Robbie's done? Does anyone know what Robbie's done? Yes, he's pushing, he's trying to lay it. It takes out what, 8,000? You might hold 3 on the race?
No, it takes out nothing because no one bets with him.
Well, no one hardly bets with him. I'm just saying, worst case scenario. There's money for Robbie, push, right? He might stand it for 6,000. We do have a Hong Kong betting exchange where they hold $1 million race. He might have backed it to win 100,000 there.
Yes, yeah,
And he comes
yeah,
back
yeah.
dragging his feet along. He must giggle under.
Glenn,
It's
it's
not.
no good.
Rob, that looked no good, mate. Yeah, I know. Well, and then the stewards inquiry. Oh yeah, look, it was my worst way. Fuck, I've won 150,000 in Hong Kong on the race. How would you know what he does? He's the best.
He's the best.
He's a fucking magician of a magician. His left hand doesn't know what his right hand's doing. I mean,
Is he doing that stuff?
I'm saying, is he?
Yeah.
But
So I've got a
Putting
question.
it out there.
I think he's
But if you're a great carp,
he's semi-retired, isn't he?
he's hungrier than ever.
Oh, okay.
Are you kidding?
I get that impression.
He'll be making money.
Because he's got me conned with the body language.
He'll be making money in a coffin. He'll be fucking 10 foot. We'll all be there going, "Oh, Rob, you're buried now. No good, brother. I've got fucking 1800. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, he'll be fucking betting. He's sick.
The penultimate. Well, I was on Louis CK. I have to say that horse has got a life with me now.
Hey, presented to win.
Anybody check what it was matched at on Betfair? You see it, Glenn? Or?
Can't remember why.
I'm just assuming it would have been matched really short. Looked
Oh,
like
420, 440, I think was matched.
Oh no, I'm saying
in the
it's
run.
Yeah.
Oh no, I didn't notice.
Oh yeah, I'm saying dollars.
I'm still-
Anyone's got a snapshot at the 150 metre mark or the 200 metre mark.
I'm still
at Louis
getting
CK.
over fucking blokes out there laying Nick Kyrgios at $1.01 after 2 sets and then watching him turn into who was Dr. Jekyll, watching him
What
turn
about
to
the
Mr. Hyde.
tennis results recently? Do you know there was no betting on Djokovic? Like they didn't even offer a pricing. So not even $1.01 against the other bloke that beat him. Okay,
And Andy Murray?
And Murray was $1.02.
What?
Yeah, at the start of the match.
50's on.
Go the tennis.
How are we all like mini Jelkos? How are we all billionaires?
Oh, well, you know,
You need
There's so much
got,
opportunity.
I got taught off a very smart sports bettor that yeah, to be against the shorties is the long-term profitable situation.
Be against the shorties is the
Yeah,
What about
plays
like
the opening
$1.01 Nick Kyrgios, and then the third set you've laid the $1.01, he starts talking to himself, so he just tanks, and then the next set his ass is a bit itchy, so he just tanks. So now it's 2-all, and you're on an evens chance at 100s. How grouse is punting?
I got a little bit of it.
It's been all right. Hey, what about me? Big hello to Betfair there. If you want to bump in $10,000 credit for me, I'd really appreciate it. Betfair at the moment, my account is $1.30.
Glenn, I'm a Nui. Has it got a future? Seemed a nice run.
I think it has, Mark. It was second up the other day. It's come back with a lot of condition. I got a funny feeling it's the best horse in the race, and it'll be fit a third up, ready to win, and possibly fourth up. But like we spoke on the show about a few of these horses, like Dark Steel, Sonic Swish, Hogmanay. I said to you, they're all the same horse.
Hogmanay went all right. Dark Steel, and there's no hope for Dark Steel.
And
There's no hope
Abenako
for Sonic
used it was
Swish.
completely busted on the previous show, and you were quite right. There was money for it at $17, so
My horse to follow out of the meeting is
Imminent.
Imminent.
And you would be. See what I said before you even said it? And then we come to the last, and Noble Joey, like it's traded so short, it's Kathy on, so it's just a pen job, and yet she nearly did the job. But
Leader's draw, like 12 of 12 for a horse like that. Finally it gets control. It had no control first up, no control second up, and then G. Buckley the other day at Canterbury sits one out, one back.
I just can't wait for her to retire, get involved in the media, we'll bag her for a couple of years, and then she can go off and run a pony club somewhere, which will be great. She's
I
pony,
noticed her sister's-
she's pony club girl.
Her sister's back riding, Tracy.
She does a pretty good job up there, but then it's up there, isn't it? Can they ride up there?
Oh, listen, what do we make of Miss Cedar Van der Werf, who reappeared on a heavily backed Booksall yesterday at Wyong?
Oh, Miss C. Van der Voort.
I
Courtney,
only watch her in the trials, and she doesn't get much chop in the trials.
She's had a long absence. Like she was a hot rider, like
Where's she been?
2 years ago. I don't know.
Might have a baby. Women have babies, mate. What are you laughing at?
Yeah, she might
Yeah.
have.
You get 9 months pregnant and you feed for 6 months. Hard to be
She's
riding
still
there
an
with.
apprentice.
And you got big swollen, you know.
Well, you got to
your
ride
feet
winners
short.
to not be an apprentice.
2
don't you?
years off sounds like she's had a baby.
Maybe.
You get embarrassed when I say that.
No, I'm not embarrassed.
Women have babies. It's not sexist to say she might have had a baby. I'm
Uh,
not belittling her in any way. It's good to know that she bangs if she's had a baby. I mean, it's just nice. It's life.
Right, so she's the so Snowden. She's the other Snowden apprentice. So where's Ian Haywood going to fit into?
He'll be smooth. He'll be smooth. He's a hot apprentice, this kid in the last James in his tune. He does a really good job.
Has Deploy reached its limit?
Yep. Yeah, won't be winning next time.
Gelded.
How did Roaring
Comes
to
back
Win?
3
How did
wins.
Roaring to Win come back?
Look, I had it in my numbers second pick, but there were other people out there that thought that it was well above itself. I thought it looked in great order, and I thought it ran a great race. I tipped it second, Mounty Yamail, and it was $17 and $4.40 a place.
Isa Rich raced outside Noble Joey and still ran fourth.
Like all the Sealand horses, just racing really well. Whole stable's flying. They're all parading great. Feature's doing a great job.
Yeah, Feature's doing great.
For him.
And Queen of Kariba, how did she come back?
In good nick and good fettle, it's still above herself. I thought she ran exactly up to a form.
Okay.
Suspense was a horse that was a bit disappointing.
Queen of Kariba.
Well, it was just, Sheen off the trial, again off the trial. No, these horses that win, like, that'll be our next ratings to win interrogation, will be horses that perform well off their trial in between runs. How do they go at their next start?
Oh, do we have to do a study on
So
that
Queen
too?
of Kariba, I'm interested in a bit more analysis on that one because
We'll win this preparation.
Yeah.
Maybe not next start, but third upwards I want to be on it.
And what distance?
1500?
Really?
Oh,
She's won all
Rosehill.
races at 1200?
Yeah, I think she get 1500. Look here.
I thought he changed the training of her because she was aimed at too longer stuff.
Who? John Sargent did.
Yeah.
Well, now that Joe Pride's got it. I
Yeah.
mean, it's an interesting stable.
Anyway,
change.
that's the first part of the rant here with the birds and the dogs and the... Oh, that's your dog, mate. No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
Mark's
that's
dog's
end of
just
part
not-
one.
End of part one.
Better put Rory
Better
away.
put Rory on. What are you doing, Eddie Dory?